Okay, welcome back to part 2 of learning to play the spoons. Now I'm sure you practiced really hard from the first video and learned to keep everything on the beat and you didn't just skip right ahead to the other video. Yeah, right. Okay, so now this is part 2. We're going to learn a few more techniques. In the last lesson, we were doing just basic hits. And we learned about changing the pitch. When you play the spoons and you change the angle so the cup of the spoon hits against your leg. It's the difference between the sharp sound and the hard slap sound. Okay? Now we're going to advance to using your fingers for a rake. In this, when you're playing, you use all 4 fingers or 3 fingers depending on the music. Some music it sounds a lot better to do 3, and you'll hear that when you're playing. See, that's 4 fingers. 3 fingers, back to 4. If you really want to do crazy, you can do all 5. But you can do, basically, you generally vary between 4 fingers and 3 fingers depending on the sound of the music. Just 2, 3, and 4. Okay, now when I first started playing, it never occurred to me to catch the spoons with my thumb. I would always just play. There was always a pause when I went from the rake to play or went up to rake down on my hand. I'm so used to catching with my thumb I have to tuck it down and force myself not to use the thumb when I'm doing this. And this is probably what you're going to need to do in the beginning, is don't get involved with the thumb unless you just naturally have a knack for catching the spoon on the way up to bring it down. Start out with just using the 4 fingers and playing some music to it. So back to our standby of Wild Nights for a quick demonstration. Now see, I'm doing standard patterns here. It's hard to talk at the same time. So just repeat the same thing over and over again in practice. See what I did there? In that break, I held the spoons and I adjusted it in my hands because they were starting to slip a little bit. You can just practice the rakes over and over again if you want. Let's try 3 fingers. See the difference? That's 4 and 3. All right. So that's the basic rake. Combining it with the hits. So practice that. Don't be afraid to adjust your grip in the middle of playing if you start to lose it. So let's say right now the spoons start to slip. What you could do is just shift to something with a slower beat. Just shift to a slower time. See what I'm doing? I adjusted it in between in the pauses. Okay, so that's how you can adjust the spoons if you need to while you're playing in the middle of a song. And that's the basic technique of the 3 or 4 finger rake. There you go. So practice that and come back to the third lesson when you're done.